maybe just take another step back, right? You mentioned the Chinese firm and UBS, and you mentioned you kind of got into like equity research.
Yep.
So can you talk about, you know, how that process was, like the interview process, like, and also like, which, I mean, I know which firm it is.
There's actually a very specific point that why I decided to really move on to either IBD or equity research when compared to sales and trading. So when I have my intern at UBS, I would say equity sales, and then so I just literally feel like, okay, I just sit there, but not much I can do because as a junior. And then I start to realize that actually most of the job that they are doing right now require a certain level of experience and knowledge about the financial market, and at the same time, it requires relationship with the clients. So as a junior guys, I think, okay, sitting at a sales desk, probably you can do, you know, what you can do is buying coffee for the trader, for the sales, and at the same time dropping notes, etc., etc. But so, and back then, what I was thinking was I really want to beef up my fundamental knowledge about financial knowledge. So that's why I asked the sales, okay, what is the best way to do that? So, and then they kind of mentioned that, okay, you can either work in equity research, which need to spend a lot of time on financial modeling, financial analysis, etc., etc., or a IBT kind of department. And then so I basically during that UBS internship, I just raised my hand and asked, okay, I want to move, I want to change my department. And then lucky enough, there is someone in equity research are willing to kind of take me, you know, to finish the other half of the internship. So that's why I moved on to the equity research team in UBS. And so that is how I really like shifting from the sales and trading to the equity research. Yeah. But again, I mean, if someone like really enjoy, you know, talking to people, really outgoing people, maybe, you know, starting as a junior sales may not be a bad idea too. But, you know, again, asking myself, you know, the personality and also everything adding up, I think it's better for me to really like ramp up my fundamental skills at first. Yeah.
And then from the equity research, you finished that internship at UBS and then you graduated, and then how was hiring season? Because I can imagine it's quite intense. Right?
Quite intense. Yeah. It's actually just like most of the graduate. I mean, you guys also, you know, get through that period. I mean, in the last year of your college, I mean, basically running around in a private job and an interview and this and that. I at one point I would say, because I have done many different internships during my university, and then at the same time I also work in UBS as an intern before, and back then there was a certain level of ego in my mind because, oh, okay, I work in one of the best kind of investment bank, and so, but all of a sudden, I would say, I received an email and said, okay, we can't give you a return offer because we don't have a budget and this and that. And then at the end, I find out, you know, for that intern class, only like 40% of them get return offer. The rest basically just say bye-bye. And then so all of a sudden, I become really disappointed, but I still believe that I can land on a good job. And then so I keep on running around and then try to look for investment banking or equity research. At least I want to get an IB, right, basically. And then, so I think I spent around, I don't know how long, but for some time it's quite stressful again, because no offer, keep on interviewing, and then, but very lucky that I remember after 3 or 4 months of interview, I get my first offer from HSBC about as a credit trader or credit analyst, and it's still in the sales and trading things, and then, but I remember back then I was not that happy because I still want to, you know, get into a better firm. Well, from my perspective, better firm, right? Not
hey, no offense, HSBC.
Yes, and from my perspective, better firm. So I keep on finding, but the only good thing about that job is at least I have, you know, less pressure back then because I know that I already get a job. So I keep on finding, and because I become less stressful, and as you can imagine, the performance in the interview will become better, and then so that's why I have to say sorry to HSBC. I mean, if I get a chance, and is that actually I took the offer, and then it's actually quite an interesting experience. I took an offer from HSBC, and then, but you know, offer is offer, right? It doesn't. If you turn down the offer at the end, you doesn't have to do anything, right? Or pay them anything. So I took that first, and then so I remember, let's say, for example, tomorrow is my first day, right? And then so I was like, okay, tomorrow is gonna start at HSBC. But all of a sudden today, I received a call from Goldman. And then Goldman said, okay, I'm gonna give you a offer. And then so I just immediately called HR of HSBC. And then they were like, they were like super mad, as you can imagine, right? Because very last minute, they said that you can't go to work tomorrow. And then I was like, and then they asked me why, and then I said I get another offer, and then they keep asking me which firm, this and that. I was like, Goldman Sachs, and then so it was like quiet for like 20 seconds. It's like, how can they give you an offer? And then I keep asking that. I was like, why not? And then they were like, okay, we have a kind of like a non-written agreement among different IB that if a fresh grad get an offer from one bank, usually if another bank know that, they will not keep on kind of moving on for the interview process. And then one of the reasons why Goldman are willing to give me this offer, because back then, actually before I graduate, I actually finished all my credit a little bit earlier, like 6 months earlier. So I have 6 months kind of empty period, so I will go out and work in a hedge fund. And then so that's why Goldman said that, oh, I'm gonna hire you as an experienced hire, but not as a graduate. And then so that is how they kind of get around that. And then so that HR was like super mad, and then just handled for me.
Did you have to go through an interview process?
Yes.
So
of
how
course.
was that?
I remember it's like 15 rounds of interview, roughly, yeah. And then, well, I mean, I have to say, right, 15 rounds of interview is tough. You keep seeing basically all the people, and at the end, I find that after I get on board, I find that some of the people who interview me, I don't even need to work with them, basically, but they still are part of the interview process. And then, but I have to say, within that 15 interview, some of the questions are basically like the same questions, but you're just kind of repeating yourself a little bit, but still tough, right? I mean, some of them are like, including those kind of random brain teasing kind of questions, stuff like that. So that's real. I mean, that's real that, there's a long process of interview for Goldman. So they basically ask the whole four, not the whole four, but half of the four to interview with you, talk to you, ask you out for lunch, and then to make sure that they want to work with you, basically. And then so yeah, I mean, yeah, but again, I mean, the lucky part for me is really like, when I had that interview, I already have the HSBC offer on my hands. So a little bit like, oh, yeah, okay, let's do this and try my best, this and that, yeah.
Damn, you're so modest, bro.